Dear friends, let us continue to Margaret by Matthew Arnold. In the last video, we covered two stanzas of the poem. Now, let's complete the last two stanzas of the poem, 6 lines each. Oh, see, the third stanza of the poem begins with a kind of exclamation that strong desire or that strong feeling of loneliness and separation and alienation, then a longing like despair. Beautiful example of longing like despair. This is the oxymoron. On one hand is longing means a strong desire. What kind of a strong desire here? Matthew Arnold actually talking about to be one, to come closer and become one. He says that we humans, two lovers, they have a strong desire to come and become one, but they are not able to come. Why? Because there is something that does not them to come, and maybe it's their skepticism. It's their a kind of disbelief in their religion or their loss of faith in their religion and the dominance of the science or the spirit of the science does not allow them to come and unite and become one. So he says longing is there, but this longing, what happens? Changes into despair, great sadness, is to their farthest caverns, caves sent. So he says that people who are just imagined here as islands, or islands are here, stand for people, they have a kind of a strong desire to just forget about those things that somehow just separate them, divide them, and they want to come and become one. But there, this desire changes actually into despair. Why? Because the water, their differences, or the rapid growth of the industrialization and the scientific just approach of thinking somehow does not allow these people or these lovers to come together and become one. See, to their farthest means far away cabins, just caves home sent. For surely once, he says, surely there was time. All the people of this world were united. They lived together. They had a kind of understanding. They had a fellow feeling. They feel. He says they means people of the world, they feel. We were, now they say we were parts of a single continent. So today they have divided into what? Islands, but there was time. All the islands were one, all the islands were the part of the one continent and they lived together. So they remember, they are 100% sure that yes, there was time. All the land masses of this earth, all the land masses of this earth were the part of the earth. They were one. They were not divided. The earth was not divided into land masses. But now they somehow are unable to come and unite and become one. Because again, here Matthew Arnold finds it almost impossible to digest that rapid change that was happening, or that is happening, you can say, here in the Victorian era. He finds it almost impossible to adjust or to compromise with that or to cope up with that. being classes. Now round us spreads the watery plain, and he says, but now all around them there is water. This limitless stretch of water that symbolizes their loneliness, that symbolizes their hopelessness and their sadness, a kind of a feeling of feeling of separation. Now the stretch of the water here stands for suffering, stands for their separation. This water does not allow the islands to come and touch and connect the shores of the other island become one. So see here the just a third just actually stanza of the poem, and he says, "Oh might our marges shores meet again." So see again this the exclamatory word is used, and see here the line ends with the exclamation mark that shows the strong desire of the poet to become one, to come and unite and become one. But somehow here the poet finds it almost impossible. The speaker of the poem is unable to come closer to his own beloved or to his own just near and dear and become one. Why? Because there is something that does not allow him to come and unite. And what is this? This rapid growth and the progress of the rapid speed of this, you can say, industrialization, or the way industrialization was getting stronger and stronger, and the spirit of the science was continually just dominating the religion, and it was all because of that the people rapidly lost their faith in the religion. And if people lost their faith in the religion, it was almost impossible for people like Matthew Arnold to accept it, digest it, and cope up with that. And the result is that he is thrown into a kind of ocean of pessimism. He is absolutely pessimist. He thinks that the situation can never be set right. Why? Because the situation or things have gone out of control. Now let's look at the last concluding just stanza of the poem. Who ordered that their longings fire, longing again, strong desire, should be as soon as kindled, ignited, cooled, doused. So he says, now here is questioning. Here he begins the last stanza of the poem with the rhetorical question. Rhetorical question, you know, that is a kind of a question that is simply put forward only to emphasize on something, or only to emphasize something without seeking answer, without getting answer. So here he says, who has done it? Who has doused that fire? That very particular fire that had just begin to just kindle, just begin to give a kind of a warmth, that warmth of love, warmth of warmth of unity, warmth of oneness. So before that fire could ignite and just burn and give the warmth, that fire was doused, that fire was extinguished. And here he wants to know who has done it. Actually, he wants to tell us it is none other than, he is none other than the God. Why? Because people have lost their faith in their religion. If people lose their faith in their religion, will the religion be able to protect them, save them, rescue them? No. Same thing is here. That shows his belief in the religion. So he says, who ordered that their longing, strong desires, fire means that their fire of love, you can say, should be as soon as kindled, ignited, burnt, cooled, doused, destroyed. Who renders vain means meaningless or useless, their deep desire. Again, deep desire, their desire to come together, live together, and be one, Now answer comes, a God, their severance, just a separation, means separation rules. He says, he is none other than the God who has brought upon us what? Separation. Who has brought upon us isolation. Who has isolated us. Who has alienated us. Who has brought this kind of, who has somehow just increased the distance among the people. It is the God who has separated the people. Why? Because people have lost their faith in the religion. People have given their heart and soul to what? Industrialization, to the scientific, to the scientific spirit and scientific progress and scientific development, and it's all because of that. Now the God has deserted them. God has left them to their fate, and even God has separated them. And maybe it is the anger, it is the vengeance of the God that people have. People have, one man is got separate, one man is got separated from the other. It is the God who has separated. Just people here, Matthew Arnold means to say. See, a God, their severance means severance, separation ruled, and bed means ordered, betwixt means between, there shows to be the unplumbed, measureless, that cannot be measured, the depth of the sea that cannot be measured, salt, the water is salty, estranging means dividing, see. So he says, it is the God who has what? Who has divided these islands by bringing, by bringing the water channels among them or between them, and in this way God has what? God has fated us, or God has given us this separation, God has given us this isolation, and God has separated us. So here, see here the poem ends, and I hope this explanation of mine would definitely help you understand this poem of Matthew Arnold. So my dear learners, that's it in this video. I hope this video will help you understand this poem, and if you like this explanation and feel that this explanation of mine just has helped you a little, just understand this poem, like it, subscribe it, and share with your friends, dear learners.